In the sunshine state of Florida, an Australian's life is about to change. He is on his way to meet a woman who has consumed his thoughts for 15 years. A woman who shares a bittersweet bond.
Jennifer Rothschild Robinson.
It is a name Nathan Edwards only learned this year, and today, at long last, he'll put a face to it.
Hello.
Hello. How are you? Oh, so good to finally see you.
You too.
Can't believe I found you.
Come on in.
Thank you.
Please.
Wow. I must have sent thousands of emails, and this year I just lucked the right person at the right time.
Right.
It's taken such a long time, and I was kind of getting to the stage where I thought I probably wouldn't find you.
I know.
To understand the emotion, you need to go back to one of history's darkest days, September 11, 2001.
The World Trade Center, Tower number 1 is on fire.
Terror had reached America's shores.
He says he's at the 105th floor at One World Trade Center.
Stay where you are. We have you on the 92nd floor.
And as politicians pondered and plotted retaliation,
we stand together to win the war against terrorism.
Nathan, a News Australia photographer with the New York Post, was called into work. Jen, a lawyer in the Twin Towers, should have been at work.
The whole experience of that day was surreal because I watched the whole thing live, on television, as the buildings were falling. So even though I physically wasn't there, it was just,
And you would have known people.
Yeah, and I will never forget, that it's like the day you give birth. You never forget that and all the details of that. That day is just burned into my mind. Yeah.
Burned into Nathan's mind are equally traumatic images, but it's this one that stayed with him, almost hauntingly.
I stopped to just readjust cameras, and it was heavy. It was a long day. It was hot, and just to take a rest for a minute. And something caught my eye. Something dark caught my eye, and I looked down, and I could see it was just a snapshot, a family-looking snapshot. So I got a little bit closer to it, blew a little bit of the dust off, and it was a picture, of a woman and her baby. And everything around it was ground up, was rubble, and it was I thought it was amazing that this picture that had no tears, wasn't burnt, was just sitting in the dust.
Where had it come from? The towers? Was it someone's wife and child? And what happened to them?
My initial thoughts were they'd probably perished.
For 15 years, he feared the worst.
The longer it went on, the more the picture started to haunt me, and it became obsessive, a bit of an obsession. I needed to find these people.
He tried the World Trade Center, Ground Zero firefighters, newspaper contacts, book publishers, charities. He wasn't giving up. Then,
out of the blue in early February, I got a message back saying, I think I know who the woman and child is in the photograph.
That woman was Jen, alive and well in her new hometown of Florida. How did you feel when you found Jen?
I couldn't believe it. It was just, woke up one morning and the message was on my phone.
Nor could Jen. She too had been looking for Nathan after seeing his picture of her and her daughter in the New York Post the day after 9/11. And what did you do to find Nathan?
I got in touch with the New York Post, and I was trying to find out who took the photo. I made those attempts, and over time, I guess I just accepted that I probably would never find out who he was.
Now, reveling in their newfound friendship, Jen is joining all of Nathan's dots, starting with where she was on that fateful day, in Cape Cod, on her first trip away without the baby.
Originally, we were supposed to have gone the week before, but we were traveling with another couple, and for whatever reason, they needed to bump the trip a week back. So that's where we were on September 11th.
A world away from the Twin Towers, but paradise fast became pandemonium. Friends and relatives had no idea if she was alive.
When they saw that photograph in the Post, they immediately thought the worst.
Their home phone was ringing off the hook.
The person who answered was our nanny at the time, who was watching my daughter Isabel while we were away. And we quickly told her, please, the first thing out of your mouth should be, Jen is okay.
Jen was okay, but not her colleagues. They were among the 2,900 people killed. So it was important for you and for your family, that photo. Was it a sign of how lucky you were?
Yes, absolutely. Whenever, life has ups, it has downs, good times, bad times. And my husband as well, we've always gone back to that photo to just remind us how lucky we are.
Keep on waiting. No, it's time to ease my soul.
Jen and her family are lucky.
You want a peanut butter sandwich?
Yeah, sure. I'll get the knife.
Okay. Isabel, the baby in the September 11 photo, is all grown up, a budding singer and actor. Her sister Emma plays competitive soccer.
Hey, baby.
Father Paul is a corporate lawyer.
To the morning light comes, to the morning light comes, to the morning light comes, to the morning light comes.
Downtime is precious. But today, in these stunning surrounds, Jen's mind is racing. Nathan's arrival has spun her world around, and the journey has barely begun. She's returning with her family to Ground Zero for the first time. In the city that never sleeps, Jen is about to confront something she's lost plenty over since the tragedy. Back on her old subway route, she's headed to the site of her old workplace, the World Trade Center.
This is 33rd Street.
Jen worked as a lawyer on the 86th floor of the North Tower, which was first to be hit at 8:46 on that Tuesday morning. Almost a third of those killed in 9/11 were from officers based from that floor up. The weather is just as it was the day of the attacks, clear and sunny.
Wow. It's grand and beautiful. Different, but as it should be.
Like so many of the 23 million visitors who've come here since it was built in 2011, reflection comes easy.
I'm so thankful that I didn't have to experience any of this firsthand.
The emotion is harder to bottle.
Oh my God, no. This is Valerie's name. How? This is Valerie. This has got to be her. I didn't know her. And here's, oh my God, this is Anne-Marie.
This is Anne-Marie.
Oh my God. Yes.
So you worked with Anne-Marie?
Yeah.
You worked with both?
Yes.
They've known each other a week. They'll be in touch a lifetime.
Some days I feel lost without you.
I was happy to be going back with her, knowing that she was alive, her family was alive, but at the same time, I was going back to an area that saw so much devastation and death. To see some of the stuff that, sorry.
I wasn't ready prior to today, or at least I didn't feel the need to have to go back yet. But now, having met Nathan and the whole story has come full circle, it felt good to go and be there with him. I guess it brings a little closure.
Closure for Jen and her family.
We talked at least annually about, I wonder who took this, I wonder what they were thinking, why this particular photograph. And I'm watching Jen as Nathan's come over, and I see that this has shifted a piece that is, I think, may enable to actually put this whole experience in a good perspective. So I love the fact that there's that positive footnote to it. It doesn't erase anything, but it does give you a certain sort of light.